Think back to early 2015. What were you doing then? Some of you would have been running through the school hallways playing tag. Others may have been at work slaving away to their long 9 to 5s. And some of you may probably still being too young to have even held an iPad. But the true lads back then were logging on to GTA Online to find something quite amazing to have been added to the game. The GTA Online Heist update was out on the 10th of March 2015, which saw the game attract a whole new demographic of online players with multi-chapter, action-packed, team-based missions that as a composition formed brilliant heists that people still desperately do today as an early grinding method to get their very first. There was no time to fool around, no time to drive around backwards in your Zontono to run people over. It was time for business. It was promised on GTA Online's release that heists would be released with it, but none were there to be found. After a while, however, they added this new heist and it became an instant hit with the GTA community. Everyone was having fun, robbing banks, invading military headquarters, and patiently waiting through a bunch of nonsense dialogue spoken from characters you tried so hard to stop yourself from vigorously running them over. Well, you almost tried hard enough. These heists were the hip thing to do back in the day, and it gave a fantastic experience for players of the GTA franchise to fully embrace the Irishman or Ocean's 11 fantasies with their friends, becoming the cool gang of criminals they saw themselves to be. So, let's talk about them. The Fleeca heist stays close to the hearts of many players today, as it was most likely the first online heist they did with a friend of theirs. As a two-player heist, it features basic setups that involve the usual stealing of gear, stealing of equipment, and stealing of a vehicle, all accumulating to a robbery, aka another moment to steal some more shit. It was a basic heist that gave a decent amount of money, and back in the day, the heist was fairly grindable. What the payout today is equivalent to earning 0.2 of an Ethiopian B, it still serves as a fantastic beginner heist that shows the ropes to a degenerate who hasn't played the story mode heist yet. It shows the basic workings of a heist and gives players a small taste of the shit show that is yet to come. Although it may not be long and entertaining, its short length and replayability serves its purpose well. Where have I heard that before? But as an introductory heist, it unfortunately also has to introduce online players to its characters, Lester and Paige. Fortunately, it redeems itself through this. With a few bugs that occur occasionally at the end of the heist, it was and is a solid heist that does its job well as a tutorial of sorts even to this day. This heist is somehow still relevant? What the fuck? I guess it's an intermediate form of money making in the game nowadays, and I don't know, to me this heist has never really been a favourite. There's not much to talk about with this heist, but granted it does have its moments. With the stretched out story all to get some immigrant you never meet again out of jail, the heist in question is the first 4-player heist, and thus to many including myself, was the first heist to provide a chaotic enough environment where shit like this happened. The final heist itself is at most annoying. With the flawed gunplay system, the two players who must do the shootout have quite the irritating job of auto-aiming every single man on Earth that supposedly have bulletproof faces. Well, this could be solved by the demolitionists shooting homing missiles from above like a Call of Duty kill streak. It leaves the pilot vulnerable, and oh boy, do you need a good pilot. It's literally a low-class commercial plane versus military grade F-16s.
I mean, what is this piece of shit gonna do?
I know to raise the stakes, but come on, a bit more prep could have been done to compensate for this shitty excuse for a plane. With setups that don't really mean anything anymore due to the current access to laser weapons and flying DeLoreans, the heist doesn't fit too well in the modern day, and to be honest, not do many of the other 4 from this update. The world of GTA has evolved so much that looking back on this heist, it's a mystery as to how we were once so critical at how stretched this storyline really is. This heist back then served as a vehicle of chaos that brought with them memories that won't be forgotten. And although most of us don't even regard this heist as a better one of the 5, it still has a place in our hearts. Or it would if it weren't for the introduction of this fucker.
This is not an offer of employment so much as an opportunity. And well,
So,
anyway, that's just getting a bit
Before we
technical, but the
remove
point is,
Professor
sometimes
Retrospective
our
from
fair
his
and legal
unwelcome
justice
stay in
system makes
prison, we've
mistakes.
As one of the longer and more challenging heists on this list due to its setups, the Humane Labs heist is an iconic heist that to me is one of the more, how do I say it, traumatic. With a storyline that is slightly more streamlined than the Prison Break heist, the full plates are involved in some underground governmental FBI shit that results in this guy's brutal death.
The FIB, what are these clowns doing here?
The difficulty of these setups make a lot of sense as the stakes are quite high. Unlike Prison Break or Fleeca Rationally, the Humane Lab is expected to be more secure and dangerous, and thus intense preparation is required for a smooth entrance and exit into the facility, which is the case making you a smooth criminal. Get it? Because it's smooth and... okay, I'll stop. The heist itself is probably the easiest, but simultaneously one of the least memorable ones in the update. However, the room for chaos in the setups is more than enough to make up for it. As you can see, the vehicles dealt with in this heist are extremely fun to use, from Hydras, to Insurgents, to Valkyries, to Batmobiles? Yeah, Batmobiles. If this heist could be summed up in just one word, it probably would be cool. It plays the song Danger Zone when you leave with the Hydras in that one setup.
Will not be popular if you mess this up here.
And there's even a return from this chick from GTA 4.
Go ahead. We got it.
Speaking of characters,
Who getting that guap? Who smoking that top shelf? Who getting top off top? Ain't nothing more important than the moolah.
Series A. What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Shit. Well, not completely though. The heist does feature Trevor, who's ultimately the saving motherfucking grace of the heist as a whole. But it could also be said that what really ruins this heist is Trevor himself. His presence implies to former story mode players that this heist is going to be big. It ups the ante and raises their stakes. However, the heist is quite the contrary. All you do is collect a lot of drugs through some excruciatingly long, challenging and unrewarding setups that accumulate to this shit show of a heist. Literally all you do is shoot some fuckers, drive and shoot some more fuckers, and in the end, Trevor gets shot by some more fuckers. It's so trash that you literally have to drive a fucking garbage truck in the setups, and man, is that setup fucking infuriating. Doing this right after raiding the Humane Labs makes it feel like I'm doing a side quest in story mode. With seemingly rushed setups and heists, it really does feel like Trevor's appearance is the only good factor about it. The only memorable thing about this heist is Trevor crying in the ending cutscene, which contributes to the heist enough to make it, I guess, worth doing. It really shows how much the heist does rely on his appearance. It is a story solely about Trevor and not about us. But this can be said with all of the heist, where it's most prominent in Series A. The story of the heist generally focuses on the world changing around our characters and the world's response to our actions that aren't well motivated besides the desire for money. Our characters don't talk in the game and thus they are merely vessels for the unjustified actions we commit. Our characters would make shit protagonists.
But, and I'm serious now, as stupid as you are not gonna talk about what happened here. Because your usefulness to us, well, it just ran out.
Although Series A is shit, all the heists including this one are cleverly written in the fact that it allows for pre-existing and one-off characters to develop further indirectly, even if it's just by a small bit or by comedic spite.
Peck of wood. Like a regular dreamboat.
The entire GTA Online is based on the concept that your character is merely the catalyst of change. But the main character or the protagonist is in fact the world. It evolves and changes accordingly to when we induce it. We are merely omnipotent spectators. Sort of like playing God. But even after saying all this fucker is introduced and man is he fucking full of shit, both in his mouth and in his pants. Pacific Standard. Nostalgic, epic, and simultaneously just AIDS. As the most challenging yet probably the most fun heist of the 5, Pacific Standard is one of the best heists GTA Online has to offer till this day in terms of enjoyability. It ends the 5 heists in a book-ended manner, positioning players with a chance to rob a far bigger bank than Fleeca and invites reflection on how far they've come since the Fleeca heist. With some interesting setups that for the most part aren't too stretched or dull story-wise, the only real complaint I have for these setups would be the convoy one.
What the
Insurgents dead? No?
Excuse me? What the fuck? No, like...
I mean, all of this for these pieces of shit? Is there really no any other way to break past this stupid gate without them? But then again, recent heists lead me to believe that the laser drills from Casino Vault come from the same guys we steal the thermochargers from. Why didn't we get those instead? Anyways, all the fuss is worth it because of the huge payout of $1,250,000. Or at least, it was worth it. Yikes. But back then, this payout was huge and was granted repetitively by those who hadn't played the game long enough to do the infamous Roof Time Rumble mission years before, which even by today's economic state, it's pretty OP. But let's talk about the heist itself. The heist, like its setups, is extremely challenging yet entertaining and engaging.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
With stakes that are high but not ridiculously high, the heist shows a nice balance between the fun and replayability of the Fleeca heist and the challenge of the Humane Labs heist. It's also a different kind of challenging. Not challenging, but strategically challenging. From the robbery to the shootout to the escape, all three components make for a brilliant yet simple heist that requires just enough teamwork yet provides just enough room for a little bit of chaos.
I wanted to shoot the security guard's face off. Fine, I'll do it to this lady.
I mean, like, literally breathing near them causes them to die? What the fuck are we supposed to do? With a questionable but albeit non-strict escape route, the heist is notorious for the amount of ways you could escape. Not just the cops, but escape from using these pieces of shit. I mean, who the fuck even thought this would be a good idea to drive on with money bags slung on our backs? I mean, didn't they think we'd be losing our money? It's almost as if it was designed to make you lose money. And of all the things they could have patched in this update, they decided to patch the ability to call your own personal vehicle. specifically the Kuruma, which enabled you to not get damaged during the escape of the Pacific Standard Job heist. And man, were they quick to remove that. But after all that, with an inconsistent way to earn money along with the availability of other money making methods at the time, why was this heist popular nonetheless? Well, simply said, it was fun. Besides having a final cutscene that brings you way too uncomfortably close to this prick's face, Pacific Standard is almost perfectly balanced, combining many of the best aspects of the other 5 heists that provide a truly enjoyable and memorable experience from its setups to its heist. It shows that Rockstar truly does best with grounded plots, believable stakes, and just a sprinkle of absurdity. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is cool. But this just hits better. Serving as Rockstar's summary to the heist update, to me and I believe to many others as well, the Pacific Standard escalates the quality and memory of this heist as a whole, allowing the update itself to be a contender for possibly the peak of GTA Online's enjoyability alongside the CEO Officer's update. It represents a balanced time in GTA Online's history where there was a gap between just enough content to keep fans busy whilst not enough content to keep audience engaged and anticipating for more. From there, GTA Online has excessively added more content, and whether for the better or worse, it's undoubtedly kept the game alive and thriving while it's kept us in financial debt and on life support. But this heist and this update in general demonstrates a peak in GTA Online history, when times were simpler and so were the heists, when life was enjoyable and so was the game, when we cared and so did Rockstar. But now let's talk money. Real money. Doing the criminal mastermind, loyalty, and all in order challenges are a fantastic way to earn everything this heist have to offer, which is up to $20 million. It ups the stakes and allows for brilliant team play to occur. It's truly difficult and requires a team of 4 that are in constant contact with each other during the missions. They are all required to have decent experience with GTA Online with a strong knowledge of these heists. Loads of tips and tricks are to be known, and as there are many videos that cover these tactics, I won't be covering them in this video. To have done these challenges back in the day, you'd have been the Jeffrey Bezos of GTA Online. Now of course, the pain that this challenges induces is not worth it. Go do your Cayo Pericos if you want 20 mil instead. However, this challenge when done with a solid group of 4 is extremely fun. It still remains as a highlight in the gaming achievements I've ever had. Where it removes the charm of ruining missions on purpose for a good laugh, the high stakes make for a fantastic test of the chemistry and friendship between you and your teammates. The satisfaction in completing the challenge is more than physically rewarding, it's emotionally rewarding. Like taking a nice sniff of coke right after you hit the jackpot on Wall Street. What? But now we consider the general audience, the general public of lonely gamers with no one to play with and no one to do the criminal mastermind with. Back then, for the experience they were fun. They were the hype of GTA Online. It was teased for a long time before the game even came out. It was the hip thing. But now, I believe they have been immortalized in the GTA culture and are part of the GTA Online experience, providing insight to a time where the game thrived and so did we as gamers. Doing this heist nowadays, although the tech is now irrelevant and the heists are really time consuming, it is in this laborious process you'll find the game to be fun. You play these heists for the sentimental moments they provide, the memories you build with friends, the times you run over Lester and Fleeca and blow each other up in the Hydra setup in Humane Labs, the moments you suffer under the wrath of glitches and the chromosome deleting dialogue. It has its own charm, its own appeal, just like GTA 5 itself as a game. It embodies the game's concept of robberies and nonsensical life choices. Forget your Cayo Pericos and the hilariously overwhelming stakes of Doomsday. These heists are essential to do nowadays, not to earn money, but rather to experience what Rockstar truly was capable of with this legendary game. What they were capable of before the Dark Ages. Thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. I know it's been a long time since I started the project and I'm finally glad that it's done. If you guys did really enjoy this content, please like and subscribe and share to your mates who might be interested in this type of videos. And you know, if you've got any ideas on content that you guys might be interested in me covering, please let me know in the comments. And maybe some, I don't know, maybe another GTA heist update. You know, that is something that I was kind of thinking before even making this one. So if you guys are interested in me covering all the GTA Online heists, please let me know down in the comments. And with that said, thank you again so much, and I'll see yous in the next video. Goodbye.